Hey everyone, Chris here. I'm going to spend the next several minutes talking about the Phillips 3200 series Latte Go fully automatic espresso machine. I've had this for a few months and you don't really hear a lot about these, so I figured I'd kind of tell you what was really great about it, maybe what's not so great, and see if it possibly deserves a spot on your kitchen counter. Like many of you, I've had experience with a lot of different type of coffee machines. The Keurig, of course, the Nespresso machines, the regular drip coffee machines. The Keurigs always seem to start working out great, and then you use them a ton and they start to have issues. They need to be cleaned. When you clean them, it kind of makes the coffee taste funny. And then the Nespressos, it's just really hard to find the pods. You know, one, they're expensive, but then no stores seem to carry them locally, so you have to buy them online, and just it's too much. The drip coffee makers are great, and you can get a real good coffee out of them, but I'd find by the time I would make a pot of coffee, it would just be too much. And if you wanted to use whole beans and grind them, you needed a separate device, and you had bean dust everywhere. So what I was hoping with this Phillips would be that I'd be able to get back into the whole bean. Just feel like you get more options that way. It's going to be a lot fresher, being able to grind the beans on site. And then I really like a strong, bold coffee. So being an espresso maker, I figured that it probably doesn't get a whole lot stronger than that. So I picked this thing up, like I said, about 3 months ago at Best Buy. It was $799. Since I'm the only person in the house that drinks coffee, that was a, let's just say, a splurge. Very, very expensive. You know, it's kind of hard at first to justify $799 for a coffee maker, especially when you're the only one that drinks it. But watch for a little math later on in the video where I kind of try to help justify it based off of not going out and purchasing coffee at a Starbucks or something like that. Anyways, this is what the box looks like. They have two different versions. So they have the regular 3200 series, and then they have the 3200 series Latte Go edition. The Latte Go is, I guess, this little cup here that ends up actually steaming the milk. And if you're a person that likes cappuccinos, macchiatos, it's really nice to have the steamed milk. I use it probably like half the time. Maybe not even that much, but when I do want to have something a little bit different, it's nice to have that steamed milk option. I think the one without the steamed milk is $100 less. I tried to find other places I could buy it for cheaper. Couldn't really track one down. So again, $799 at Best Buy. Just maybe keep an eye on it. Maybe when they come out with a new version, they'll drop the price a little bit. In front you get your options. You have espresso, coffee, Americano, cappuccino, latte macchiato, and hot water. You also get options to change the strength, the amount of liquid, and then the milk content if you're doing a macchiato or cappuccino. All right, I figure I'll show you real quick how this milk steamer thing works. So a bunch of these automatic espresso machines, different brands, have different ways of getting the steamed milk into the coffee. Some use a tube that you have to clean out, and it seems kind of nasty. Well, this one's really easy. So you just take it off, put your milk in there, put the cover back on, slides right back in, ready to go. And then when you're done making your coffee, you just take this off, wash, put it back together again, and you're ready to go. So it's not like every time you want to have a cappuccino or macchiato, you got to brace yourself for a half hour cleaning the milk contraption. It's just wada bing, wada boom. Using real beans was one of the reasons I got this thing. And just quick show you how that works. You just open up the bag, throw your beans right in top, and then when you're done, you put the lid back on, and it's as easy as that. Just like a Keurig, the water holder just slides right out, and when you're done filling it, it slides right back in. Imagine that. One of the things I was most nervous about buying this was the cleaning factor. So show you real quick, when it's time to clean, and it gives you a little alert when you need to do that, you just slide this bottom tray out, and then you'll see that there's a water reservoir here. So when you first start it up in the morning, it runs hot water through itself to clean it. And then as you make coffee, it generates these little pucks that are basically your just ground coffee, similar to how when you're making espresso, it would work. Then you just tap this tray off the top. I purposely didn't clean this, guys, because I wanted you to actually be able to see what it looked like. But yeah, it's as easy as really rinsing this thing out, and it takes just seconds. And just slide it back in, and then you're ready to go. Last thing that I'll mention before we get to the fun part, which is making coffee, is there's a little filter that's inside of here. I don't know how well you can see it. That's actually meant so that you don't have to descale it. That's the issue that you oftentimes run into with the Keurig. So as long as that is used correctly and you can actually buy a replacement one, you really shouldn't have to descale this machine very often at all. All right, now to the part that you all have been waiting for, myself included, is to make some coffee. So get down in the morning, you just push the power button, and it's going to run through its self-clean start mode. I will not make you watch this whole thing, but I'll let you know exactly how long it is. All right, so that process took about a minute or so, and then what you end up getting is this little cup of coffee or water, bean water, unusable stuff. You just throw it out of here, and then that happens every time you start it up. And then if you keep making coffee consecutively, you don't have to screw around with that again. But first start, that's what you got to deal with, and then you choose your coffee. So first of all, let's just make a quick cup of espresso. So you push what you want up here, play. All right, and there we have, focus in here, a shot of espresso. Now, I'm not sure if that meets the regulation espresso size requirements, but it seems pretty accurate for those little espresso cups that I see in the store. So I'm just going to chug this real quick. All right, next on the list, we're going to do coffee, and this is probably the one that I use the most, is just regular coffee. So choose coffee, push play. It's not the quietest coffee machine in the world, so it can also be used as an alarm clock for the rest of the house. So I think for those of us that are into rich coffee, you're going to appreciate the crema on the top. So it took me a little while to get used to what I would consider maybe smaller servings than what I was used to, but I'll tell you, just the actual strength of the coffee and the richness, I don't miss just having a big old cup of watered down Folgers. This really is something special. All right, now the final one, let's go ahead and try some of these milk drinks. Just pouring the milk in. Hit your cappuccino. Make sure that the cup is positioned to actually catch some of it, and play. All right, so what do I think of this Phillips Series 3200 Latte Go automatic espresso maker? Well, it makes amazing coffee. So I probably drink most of the time just the regular coffee out of it. I'll tell you what, I really can't tell the difference between drinking that and if I were to go to a Starbucks, Caribou, name the coffee shop. It's solid. It's really, really good coffee. I look forward to it every morning. When I'm in the mood for something different, I do one of these cappuccinos. The macchiato, to me, is maybe a little too much steamed milk. Cappuccino's a nice option. It's not super hot, so I would say that it's maybe not as hot as it might be from a coffee shop, but it's also equally amazing. And just something different to drink when you're sick of the regular old Joe. So probably do about 2 or 3 of these a day. And then maybe each week I'll have 3 or 4 cappuccinos at some point. I know that sounds like a lot of coffee. It's because it is a lot of coffee, but I love it. It's an important part of my day. So the pros. So I would say overall the pros are obviously delicious coffee. It is easy to clean. I would say that this is no more difficult to clean than a regular drip coffee maker, where you're having to like take the filters out, throw the filters, especially if you were grinding your own beans and have to, go through that whole process. I would also say that being able to use the real beans versus having to use ground beans like you would in a regular coffee maker is more fun. I think it tastes better as well. And then last but not least, just having the options. So being able to say, hey, this morning I'm gonna have regular coffee. Next morning you maybe want to have a cappuccino. One part that I haven't brought up yet is whenever you make a coffee like this for one of your friends or family that's visiting, obviously it's pretty impressive to be able to serve them coffee shop level coffee that only takes a couple minutes to whip up. Cons, the biggest is gonna end up being the price. All right, so I promised I was gonna try to help you justify this $800 purchase to your wife, husband, father, mother, whoever is going to need some convincing that this is a reasonable purchase. So just doing some quick math here. Let's say that you go to a regular coffee shop, chain coffee shop, you're getting a big cup of coffee or cappuccino, and let's just round it up to $5. So $5, 5 times a week, you're at $25. Let's say that you do that every week of the year, you're looking at about $1,300. That would be a cup of coffee, visit to the coffee shop 1 time a week during the weekdays, each week for an entire year, $1,300. This thing is $800. Now you're not maybe getting the experience of going to the coffee shop, but you are arguably saving time. You're not going to be tempted to buy the muffin or the sandwich from the coffee shop, so maybe you'll even save some calories. And then you can just have more, so if you want to have 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups a day, all you're really doing is going through some beans, and if it's a cappuccino or macchiato, maybe a little bit more milk. So there you go. I hope that helps make the purchasing decision a little bit easier. At the end of the day, can I recommend this to somebody else? I think absolutely. My wife and stepson are probably sick of me telling them how amazing the coffee is every single morning, but that's just a testament to how delicious the coffee is that I get to make for myself every day. Doesn't take very long to make. Start it up when I wake up and pound out 2 or 3 cups of coffee before 9 o'clock in the morning. So anyways, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you wish it had more details, let me know what those are. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day.